So I'll give everybody an agenda of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start off with some introductions. We're going to talk about the bathroom issues that we've had all year long, how that's coming along. We go on Easter break next week, so I know we had something planned for us. We're going to try and maybe discuss what we can do for those kids next week.
Yes.
If it doesn't work out where we can do something, we just don't do something. And then at the end, I left a little bit of time for some questions and comments. Starting off with our introductions, though, we have Mr. Vanderson, who is our principal at the Plaquemines Parish Learning Center. I'm here with Ms. Kosei, who works with our middle school students, and Ms. Washington, who is our head custodian at the Learning Center.
Yes.
Bathroom issues. I know we've had bathroom issues all year long. One with just boys being disgusting, and then two, them going in there and vaping all the time. I know the last time we talked that we kind of came up with the strategy of just bringing them all to the bathroom at the same time. For me, that does work. It does interrupt the class sometimes. If I know I have a student who I can trust, I will send them by themselves. But I'd like to know like how we feel like we're doing with that. Has the bathroom issue gotten better? I just walked out of the bathroom real quick because I was looking for Miss Washington, and it almost felt like I almost smelled like they were vaping in there this morning already. Right, so I don't know if we're making any progress on there, but it's difficult because it seems like they're hiding those things where we can't search them anymore. Bathroom, like how's the bathrooms looking? I know we had that problem with just absolute being disgusting before.
Well, I can honestly say it has gotten better. The only
That's so
problem
good.
I'm having, is the paper towel. They just, instead of them putting it in the basket, they're just throwing it on the floor.
Throwing it on the floor.
Yeah.
And I
But-
think this morning, what you may have been smelling, I know a bunch of the girls went in there and they came out smelling like the Bath Body and Beyond. They sprayed all.
Oh no, I went to the boys.
So I don't know if they transferred over, but one of the
Mm.
things that I've been working with Ms. Washington on is really addressing a few of the stalls, only making the essential stalls available to the students, because we still want to maintain the privacy of the kids. That's the biggest thing
Right.
for me. So
Right.
it has gotten better, monitoring the ins and outs of going in there, but it's still something we have to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think it's gotten better too. From
Yeah.
what we was going through right before the break to now, we know that they're still vaping, but I think it's getting better and it's under control now.
Right.
I think it's like you said, they're hiding it in their pants and everything, so we can't control that. But it has gotten better, in my opinion.
And I've even stood like next to the door, and I can hear whether or not they're using the bathroom or not.
Yes,
I can't hear them if they're vaping because it can be quiet. It's a
Yes.
real quiet device.
yes,
But my question always to them is, man, I didn't hear you use the bathroom.
yeah.
I didn't hear you wash your hands. Like, what are you doing?
One of the-
And it's almost an embarrassing thing to ask them too. Like standing by, you have to stand by the door. Like,
Right, right.
One of the other staff members came in my room and he was in the restroom with the other boy. And he came in, he asked him, he said, "Did you use the restroom?" And he was stuttering because he said, "Did you wash your hands?" Because we knew that he was vaping because he didn't use the restroom and he didn't wash his hands.
Mhm.
So what else could he have been doing?
And what else? I mean, what else can we do on that in that instance?
It's just really tough, especially with the privacy issue. And I'm really just kind of hoping that kids who really have to do something more in the restaurant when they go, maybe they may select a time when it's just they're asking the teacher one-on-one, "Hey, can I go?" versus when the group goes, and so they can have a little bit more privacy.
Yeah.
But other than that, we have to continue to monitor students going in and out. And if they know that Miss Washington is maybe there, she's cleaning a little bit, they'll be less likely to do something if they know you're there, if I'm there, Ms. Kosei, and so forth.
Yeah.
So we're doing the best that we can do, and I certainly know that there are other schools who have similar concerns.
It's across the board. It seems
It's
like.
across the
yeah,
board,
yeah.
and they actually have to go in, physically go in. But it's still that thing about the privacy.
Privacy,
And I know
yeah.
we all feel that no one wants to
Exactly.
invade anybody's privacy.
Even just standing by the door, I feel like I'm invading their privacy. Just
Right.
standing by the door.
That's how I feel as well.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want nobody standing by the door when I.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, if I'm being honest, sometimes I walk away when y'all are in the lounge and I gotta use the
Yeah.
bathroom, right? So I can only
Yeah.
imagine how they feel sometimes,
Exactly.
you know?
And
You're
the
right,
staff
that's
has
so
always
true.
done that, Miss Washington or even anybody. I might be going in just to wash my hands, but what I notice is that they'll leave out when I come out, they're gone.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we as adults get that, but I think the
Yes.
kids need
Right,
to
right.
understand.
They get
Yeah,
a
maybe-
little irritated,
Yeah.
by us
Mhm.
constantly going, to the bathroom and
Maybe-
monitoring
yeah.
them.
And maybe we can have like we had yesterday, I thought that conversation was effective with the students. Maybe we can have some additional conversations with them about privacy and why it's important for them to do what they're supposed to do in there so that they can have their privacy.
Mhm.
If they're if that's what it's really all about, you are gonna use the restroom, then they should agree to that versus they're trying to go in there and do something they shouldn't.
You know,
Right.
before we close, I wanna suggest, can we get a video on vaping to show them how bad vaping is and what could it do to their lungs and to their body and everything like that? I
We can
really
talk with
wish-
the nurse.
Yeah.
Ms. Amos is here this morning, as a matter of
And
fact.
send out
so-
some, forms to let the parents know.
And have her to look up the clips where one of the kids bought a vape to school and it had fentanyl in it, but the other
Same
kids
as-
didn't know,
Wow.
and it killed one or two of them.
So we need little things, maybe every Friday we can do something like that.
Like a, okay, like
A
a
mini-
little, like a drug-free program, maybe we can
Yes,
start up on
yes.
Fridays, something.
Maybe just a 10-minute video,
Something.
just showing them how dangerous it is, because when I had a conversation with them yesterday about them vaping, it's like they were in shock that
Same
vapes
as-
can do this to them,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, so.
Would you mind if I ask Ms. Amos to come in?
No,
And
no,
they-
for sure, for
because
sure.
it's not a regular cigarette that is safe, but
Yeah.
it's really not. They can blow
Right,
up.
right.
Just maybe 10 minutes every Friday.
I don't see why not. I mean,
Yeah.
some of them are gonna,
Conversations, we need to start having more conversations, because it's getting rough around here with that, but we need more conversation.
probably right. 'Cause, and to be honest, like, all we doing is fussing at them for vaping, but like,
Yes,
we're not
all we
educating them
explain-
on, like, yeah, so maybe,
Yes, and I think you would be perfect at that.
I mean, whether it goes in one ear out the other, our
We're
job
doing
is to at
our
least
job.
deliver that information, try to educate them
Yes.
on.
Yes,
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
yes, I love it.
Whether it takes or not, like, at least we're doing our part to try and
Yes.
make them aware, because they may not be.
You're right,
They
because
may
when I was
not
telling
be.
them about it, they was looking at me like I was crazy, but, and we have 12-year-olds here, so I don't even think they really know the severity of it.
Right.
I know when I was in school, there was so many anti-drug, anti-smoking campaigns and commercials and things we did at school.
Yes.
We don't see that right here though. Huh?
Exactly, we used to have our drug-free sign and have the drug-free,
This is your brain, it's your brain,
Yes.
the little A.
Yes.
I played the video.
So, yeah, you might want to come right here. So,
Okay.
Ms. Amos, we were calling, I'm sorry, Ms. Amos, go ahead.
Do I need to sign in or anything?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let
It
Ms.
is on
Amos,
at the
Mr.
bottom.
Dunlap, what you need from me?
Yeah, so we were discussing some of the issues we've had with the bathroom all year. The vaping still seems to be an issue. Ms. Cote came up with a possible solution of maybe once a week just having some kind of drug awareness program, whether it's a video on the dangers of vaping, drugs in general. Vaping seems to be our main issue in that bathroom. We were just talking about before y'all walked in, like when we were all in school, we had all those anti-drug campaigns and commercials and anti-smoking. I watch TV, I don't really see that, so maybe the kids aren't either. So maybe some kind of
Right,
awareness
they
on
even
what
do
that.
like a drug-free week. They used
Yes.
to do with the Red Ribbon.
Yes.
It's called
Right,
Red
right,
Ribbon
Ribbon
Week.
Week, yes.
I don't think we did. I don't remember having that this year.
Did we do it this year?
No, we didn't do it this year.
No.
It's been a while, but I agree, I like that.
I think
we
that
should
is
go back
seen a big missing part, and vaping is a big
Yeah.
problem across the district, not just here.
Right, across the country, I would imagine.
Right, I'm saying, but it definitely in our
Yeah.
district because, especially the high school level
Mhm.
and middle school level.
Are there
unfortunately.
any ribbons that say anti-vaping?
Probably not because it's a new problem, and the newest problem with vaping is not just nicotine in it now.
Mhm.
They have the marijuana vapes
Right.
that our kids are being found with more so. So it's becoming more of a drug issue
Yeah.
besides just nicotine.
Right. So I mean, it sounds. I mean, we can start maybe trying to work on that, figure that out, and maybe we'll just start once a week on Friday
Yes,
in all of our classes before we start, or at the very end of the day when it's already kind of getting rowdy.
yes.
That last 5 or 10 minutes, just here's a video once a week on
Yeah.
maybe the hazards, the dangers.
Are
of
they
vaping.
allowing, people to come back into the school to visit? Cause maybe we could get Mr. Sammy to come, he's the,
They are
Yeah.
allowed. I mean, we don't want to do big gatherings,
Mhm.
but as far as a person coming in just to do a talk with kids, yeah.
yeah.
Like to go into the individual classrooms?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That could definitely, it's no different than, what I'm saying, we just want to, we don't want a whole bunch of people, but a person, yeah.
You're talking about Mrs. Sammy who wrestled the bear?
Yeah.
Well, he's
That's a
still
first
the
for me.
DARE, I think he's still the DARE officer.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Whoever the DARE officer
Every
is.
now and then I
he's
see
there.
him on the highway.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
All
because
right,
that's
so- what
what they did for a long time, but with COVID, I think it's been kind of scaled back because the focus has not been on that, unfortunately, which I think we need to be more focused on drugs and
Okay.
alcohol.
So I mean, that's our issue with bathrooms. Seems to be the vaping.
Yeah.
mess in the bathroom seems to be getting better.
Right.
We can talk to those kids again about how to dispose of those paper towels and maybe
Right.
work on that. And I know you told me about that other incident in the sink.
Mm.
It just seems like just boys still being nasty.
Yeah.
But at least it's not what it was back
Mhm.
pre-Christmas when we had
Right.
some of
Yes.
those other students,
Yeah.
right?
It's a whole lot better.
I'll take a look this weekend too, see if I can't find any kind of anti-vaping things.
Yes.
And
But
maybe
I'll,
we
and
just go
I'll
with
look
that.
too,
Okay, yeah.
see if I can find something.
We'll come back next week and maybe we can try and start this next Friday.
Yes,
And we'll find some videos or some kind of education throughout the week for it.
okay.
And maybe on a Monday, if you don't mind, because I kind of leave Mondays free, maybe we can have some talks first thing in the morning with the kids in our classes about it. And, can kind of come around a little bit and see how that's going. Just like we did yesterday with the language and all.
And that seemed to work pretty good. I didn't hear a single curse word from the high school yesterday.
Yes.
No racist off-cuff remarks either yesterday. We'll see how long that goes for, you know.
Right.
The next thing on our agenda was that garden, but Ms. Ancar's been out, and I know she's kind of was handling those PO orders.
Mhm.
So just until we get Ms. Ancar back, I guess that's kind of on hold for now.
Okay.
But we just to let everybody know, we kind of got a list on what we needed for that garden together.
Mhm.
We're gonna start it up over here, out here underneath this tree. We planned on maybe getting it rolling by August.
Mhm.
That gives us summertime to kind of come up with some lessons that go with that. So we're just not out there gardening.
Right.
But that's why we talked about starting it as soon as we got the materials, but then we had summer looking at us. Who's
Yeah.
really gonna come over here and watch it all summer? It's for the kids.
And we want the kids' hands on.
Right.
Hands on, and we want them to learn something from it. So I'm not a science teacher, but I'm sure doing some talking and some digging, we'll come up with some kind of lesson on gardening and tying that into.
But
some
Nathan, at least you
videos.
can learn about plants, I mean,
Yeah.
in general.
And they're gonna grow their own food and, we'll have
Oh,
them
neat.
use it,
Yeah, I think
in the
that's
cafeteria.
always-
Yeah, we talked about growing their own food, maybe even like once it gets rolling, having like a little market and selling some of that fruit to put back into that garden for the money, right? So it
Right.
kind of like sustains itself.
Mhm.
But we'll talk more about that when Ms. Ancar does get back, because I know the ball was left with her. What
And
you
just a
got?
few things, I know that you and I and a few other staff are going to the Teacher Leader Summit, and so there may actually be some sessions that kind of deal with plants or science and kind of that for. So just
Yeah.
kind of look at the sign up on that, and then also,
Take those
I'm
sessions.
here all throughout the summer, so I know you guys are off, but if you wanna come through and, kind of get in preparation for August, you can do that as well. And then I am bringing back the Teacher Leader Summit, and so what we call it? The retreat. that we have.
Our retreat.
The Summer Institute, I'm so sorry. And so I'm gonna be planning for that, and at the Summer Institute, perhaps Mr. Dunlap and Ms. Kosei, you can present to the staff about the plant situation so that we can hit the ground
Where are we
rolling.
going on that? Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds good. That sounds good. And we haven't been able to do that since pre-COVID. That was 19 the last time we had that
The
Summer Institute.
Teacher-
Yeah.
Summer Institute, yeah.
The last thing on their agenda today is just talking about Easter next week. I know we had our teacher thing we were planning. I had the money I got to get to you for that crawfish. We had discussed like what do we do with the kids on that day if we're eating crawfish? What do we do with the kids? And we had briefly spoke. Ms. Kosei and I came up with some ideas of letting the kids just have their regular lunch at their regular lunch time. High school finishes lunch at 1:00. That's when they come back in, and maybe we could just have all the kids go out like we have done in the past at 1:00 from 1 to 2:30, and we'll have that basketball tournament we have between high school GED. Ms. Kosei says she's already had some snacks available. Maybe we have some music out there, and we just do that for the last hour and a half on that Thursday while we have our crawfish and do our thing as well.
And I have a sign-up sheet, how we did in the past, where if the kids who are not eligible to go, we can fill out who wanna take the times and do like 30 minutes increments.
Yeah.
So this is a sheet right here so that we can,
Yeah,
have
'cause
everybody sign
I
up.
can think of a few of them right now that's
Not
on their
able
way
to.
to not being able to go.
Yes,
So I would like to talk with the kids, if we can talk with the kids starting today about what's gonna be happening on that date. And then also considerations about monitoring when they have to use the restroom, and then supervision out there as well.
I was gonna ask about the monitoring in the restroom, what are we currently doing?
Well, currently the teachers are walking their students to the restroom and waiting right there while they're using the restroom. A lot of times I will come out, cause I know where the transitions are. And if so many of them have gone already, I will continue to monitor while the teachers walk them back. They have to have a restroom. If they're in the classroom, they should be having a restroom pass that they're signing off on to go to the restroom. But again, for the most part, it has been monitored by myself. Ms. Washington has been involved as well. Even Ms. Ankar when she's available.
Which would limit to the time and the availability that they can
Right.
be.
But,
that's what I was asking. What are we doing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of,
I've
you
been
know?
trying to keep it to just 2 at a time. You know,
Because if they know somebody's around, they're gonna hurry on and go in there and come out. To where if nobody's paying attention,
then they'll stay in there longer.
Right.
You know.
Well, to limit the opportunity, the access to do it is,
Right.
is the, the key.
And it's
And
been
it-
more so the boys and
Yeah.
more so
Yeah.
GED in the high schools. I think Miss Kosei has really done a great job with the middle school kids, so it's not so much them as it has been in the past. So, but on that particular day for that event, there are gonna be some kids who are gonna wanna go to the restroom, so that means we have to have some coverage upstairs or somebody who's gonna walk them up to do that. Unless everyone's using the restroom and then we're going down for 1 o'clock, you know.
Yeah, and I mean that's how I think we've done it in the past. If somebody has to go, everybody go to the bathroom before we go outside at 1. If you have to go while you're out there,
Somebody
one of
has
us
to
just
go
walks up
in.
there.
Yeah.
that's
And
what
whoever's
you do.
watching the students, like, just you're only gonna have a couple in there anyway. We just bring them all together at the same time
Yeah.
right.
to the restroom, doing our little 30-minute or 15 minutes, however we break it up into. And I can only imagine, like, there probably is only gonna be a couple that aren't gonna be able to go anyway.
Yeah.
2, 3 max anyway, right? But we do know as well, like, the closer we get to that break, the more crazy they are gonna get. So it might wind up being even more if they're not suspended. If they're not
Right.
suspended. And that when we start talking to them today, we could tell if you get suspended
You cannot. go.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like, and you come back on that day. If you got suspended between now and then, even though you're back in school on that day, you're not gonna
Yes.
participate.
Mhm.
So that tries to eliminate, or maybe give them some motivation to stay out of trouble. I guess would be the way to say it for at least the next week.
And those students who are not able to attend, I think we should call and notify their parents so we can get additional support on how they behave on that day. They still have to come to school, they still have to do work, but at least their parents know they couldn't participate because, they didn't follow the procedures or whatnot during the normal school time.
Contact parents for the ones that can't go.
Now, if students choose to miss on that day, of course, it'd be an unexcused absence. So
Right.
we don't wanna promote that, we want them to actually come, so.
And really, they're doing a normal day except at 1 o'clock. So,
Yeah,
I mean, they are still having class. It's not like it's a full
Right.
field day where you're not doing anything. You're actually
Yeah.
doing your work.
And we still
So.
just have 1 or 2 parents who pick their kids up at the end of the day, 1 high school and 1 middle school kid, so I'm assuming that's gonna happen the same on that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that enough time? Like 1 o'clock is enough time for us to do our little thing that we were planning on doing as well, like that crawfish bowl. Is that gonna start earlier?
Well,
or-
high school lunch starts at 12:17, so I'm not sure if you want to start at 12:30 or
I'd say 12:30.
You want to start it at 12:30?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
I
we'll
know
do the
Miss-
last 2 hours
Yeah, I
then,
know
right?
Miss Christina wouldn't mind, pushing the lunch up or. whatever.
Okay.
I'll ask her.
Yeah, I just talked to the kids and especially Miss Washington about picking up their stuff outside, putting it in the trash. Just kind of little reminders as you see them going around.
That's one thing, I honestly say that they do clean up after. We
Mhm.
never have a problem with anybody, just
Mhm.
not cleaning up after our events. I think everybody come together and clean up.
Yeah. And I mean, always make the kids do it as well too. They can always
Yeah.
help. And I think they always do. I
Yeah,
know
they
Marcus
do.
is
Yes,
always
that's
out there
that.
helping.
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
always do
Everybody's
that.
always
I mean, I
out
don't think
there.
they usually leave that a mess.
In the
No.
last few events, we never had issues. We haven't been having any issues.
Mhm.
Well, it's just that most recently, and the reason why I say it is because at lunch they've been bringing down the juice boxes and some of the water bottles, and they've been leaving those out. And so, and that's why you may even see those down that stairway we were talking about. Those are the things I was concerned about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can.
I got that, I cleaned it up.
You saw that though. There were a few masks, there were a few water bottles or some deal like that. Yeah.
So we can mention that to them as well when we're talking about next Friday, just
Mhm.
what's going on outside.
Mhm.
I try to not let the high school kids bring any food out there, but it's hard to tell them not to bring a water out there, especially when they're getting a little bit hotter and they're playing
Right.
ball all
Oh,
the time.
especially, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't
so-
mind. It's just I want them to know.
Yeah.
Don't leave it.
Don't leave it down there, right? That's all I had on the agenda today. Do we have anything like any questions or comments about anything that even wasn't on the agenda that we need to talk about that's been pressing lately? I know we're getting close to the end. We got those leak tests coming up right after that Easter break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I know that, but the schedule's going to change. Mr. Benjamin will bring those kids back to the home school to take the test.
Hmm.
So that's going to adjust a little bit what we do. We don't have a staff member going this time around, but it's due to the fact that we need to be able to monitor what we have here, and it's kind of tough to kind of just allocate someone. So I think that's what's coming up after the Easter break, immediately after Easter break.
And I
So
mean, a number of those,
ready for
those,
that.
those kids are from Belle Chase Middle, so that'll be a whole week or two, week and a half at least, that they're busy down the road. Makes it a little bit easier over here for us as well. And then high school will be right after us, right around the same time.
Right, and then, so the last big event that we need to focus on next time will be the end of the year celebration. That's a little bit larger than the Easter celebration, so we
Right.
gotta do a little bit more prep for that. We haven't done that in a while,
Yes.
yeah. I would like to make sure we have face painting though, for that, cause I thought that was good the last time we did it. You know, maybe talk to some of the kids and see who might be interested. Walmart sold the supplies, so
Oh, okay,
we'll be
okay.
able to get that, yeah.
I don't remember doing, it's been so long, I don't remember
I
doing
know.
it.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
one of the GD students, a young lady did
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, if anybody has anything else, I appreciate y'all's time. That's all I have for us right now.
Sandwich, you have any?
That's it?
No, that's good, and I'll look into some educational stuff regarding.
Yeah, on that vaping stuff, yeah.